Welcome, Cincinnati Bengals fans. You're here with the Running Through the Jungle crew on Strange Love, a Bengals preview podcast where we talk to our upcoming opponents and, show them some love and talk about the game going on. And we've got none other than the big guy, Big G from Steel Curtain Network, and a fellow homie on the Homies podcast. What's going on, G? How you doing?
Man, what's crackin' B Dirt? What's crackin' Tim? Hey, man, honored to be on the Running Through the Jungle podcast. I've been waiting for this one for a long time. And we're going to talk a little crossover back and forth between the Bengals and the Steelers. So let's do what we do, bro.
Yeah, we got a lot going on out there for sure. Things have changed since we played a few weeks ago.
Facts.
That was our first start with Jake Browning. Since then, he has looked better than any quarterback starting off his first four starts in NFL history. First one with over 1,000 yards and a 75% completion percentage in his first four starts.
Facts.
We've played some so-so teams.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting too hyped up yet. I keep telling everybody to pump the brakes. Tim's got us running the table and beating everybody. He said it already. I said, look, man, calm down. We beat Gardner Minshew and Nick Mullins. Let's not throw a party yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I expect this one to be, division football in this division. It's a slobber knocker. It's a slugfest. It is what it is. And I always, keep one eye peeled because you got TJ Watt over there. Anything can happen.
That is facts. But B Dirt and Tim, I'm gonna tell you, the Bengals culture has changed the game. And I'm a diehard Steelers. You guys know that. But the Cincinnati Bengals have something really special going on in the locker room and the players. I've been saying it for weeks as far as the culture change with Cincinnati. And I think that they have a legitimate chance to beat the Steelers this coming Saturday evening, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, you've been talking about that a lot on Steel Curtain Network about the culture shift in both of our teams. And Tim's been talking about it. We've been talking about discussing it on ours. Yeah. I've even seen a little bit of a shift in our play calling and our shift in mentality as a organization from the coaching staff and whatnot. It's documented in the off season as the new generation of the Blackburns come in. That seems to be different than what we've had in the past as far as ownership goes. But with this, Tim says it every week. Run the damn ball, right? We're seeing more under center. We're seeing more running. Tim, what are your thoughts on that? And is that something you expect to continue to see against this Steelers team coming up on Saturday at 4:30, another Saturday game?
Yeah, for us to be successful against any NFL team, especially the Steelers, the Ravens, the Browns, the big pass rushing teams that we face all year long, the Titans, the Vikings, we have to run the ball. Like we've said, it's the fundamentals of football. If we don't run the football, it's not going to open up the play action. Jake's going to be a poor little kitty cat getting beat up by rabid dogs. So we have to keep on running the damn ball. If we don't run that damn ball, we're going to be finding ourselves behind the sticks the whole game and letting TJ Watt eat. We just can't let it happen. We just absolutely cannot let it happen.
I agree with you 100%. And for those Bengals fans out here, don't know a whole lot about G, don't catch him on the Steel Curtain Network. Shame on you for not coming over there and watching me on the Homies, first of all. Second of all, Big G played college football. Big G knows football very well.
Yeah,
and,
a little bit.
G, I want to point this out to you because G is also a hater of the Dallas Cowboys.
Facts.
Last week, they didn't even throw the ball around. They took Lil Cook and they ran him right at Micah Parsons because Micah Parsons wants to do one thing: go upfield at the quarterback.
Facts.
That's the easiest way to negate that from happening.
Run straight at him.
Run right inside that tackle. Boom. And that's where I think we have to do, like, we talked about it earlier in the year, running these cutesy sweeps and jet sweeps and then tossing the ball to Mixon. That's not the game plan. Get right inside that tackle, wham, go. Now you got to look out for Mr. Hayward in there. You want to make sure you miss him.
Facts.
But you have to do that just to keep the to me, the Steelers honest. You can't get them. You get Highsmith on one side and TJ Watt on the other side, and they're just teeing off, pinning their ears back. Long day.
Right. Well, I personally believe that the game will be won inside the tackles for both teams. There's been a critical injury. What's his name? Gardner? Is that his name? The guy who's the defensive
DJ
tackle?
Reader.
DJ Reader.
Yeah,
DJ Reader has been right. So that was your anchor in the middle for the Cincinnati Bengals. And it's been proven that the Pittsburgh Steelers are soft up the middle based on the losses or the attrition at the linebackers position. So in my mind, this game will be won and or lost with what happens and occurred between runs between the tackles and time of possession based on both teams.
Okay.
If Cincinnati's able to drive the ball, stay in between the tackles, get anywhere between 15 to 20 carries, 75 to 100 yards, their chances of winning goes way up. Same difference for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Between the tackles, 75 between 100 yards between Warren and Najee Harris, their chances of winning goes way up. It's going to be won in the trenches. This game, even though there's exciting players on the outside, Pickens, Johnson, who I'm down in the doghouse for both of those guys, Jamar Chase, who might be playing, T. Higgins, there's exciting on the outside. But that
goes back to your culture talks, right? So our culture, getting tougher, getting more hard-nosed, having some leadership on both sides of the ball. Leadership on the offensive side of the ball, at least in Pittsburgh, has been questioned a little bit recently with, Deontay Johnson in our game on that fumble, not doing anything, pouting because of a call from the refs in our last matchup. Then go back to the Colts game, and then you have Pickens not trying to chase down an interception or not going after. There's some issues there with culture-wise on the offensive side of the ball, finding your voice. Do you think you get those righted, or does the standard lift that play back up this week?
Well, they better thank God that I'm not a coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers, because there'll be some locked doors and some slapping around going on as far as the culture from the wide receiver position in Pittsburgh. Because they moving around. Oh, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. They think and believe that just because they put on the black and gold, that they've earned the reputation of a Hines Ward, of a Santonio Holmes, as an Andre Hastings, as a Jeff Graham, and I could go down the list over and Antonio Brown. I could go down the list of all the great Steelers wide receivers. Heck, even an Antoine Randall. And just because they put on the black and gold, they haven't earned that. And they definitely don't have the respect from the Cincinnati Bengals defensive backfield. But on the other side, and this is where the culture is talked about, I think T. Higgins and Jamar Chase have earned it without a shadow of a doubt. And I don't know if Pittsburgh's defensive backfield can handle T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Now, Jamar might play, might not, but even Jamar Chase at 70% or 60%,
he's out.
It's still better. He's still so you got Tyler Boyd and you got T. Higgins. They're still better. It's still better. The culture's still better as far as that wide receiver, because those guys are going to give maximum effort. That's what you've seen for the Bengals. I mean, look at the catch T. Higgins made where he literally turned around and scored. I mean, that's maximum effort. Watch the run plays where they block for Joe Mixon, and how Joe Mixon and that rookie running back Brown out of Illinois is able to break based on what the blocking schemes on the outside. Pittsburgh doesn't have that. Now, can they get it and earn it? This might be a game where they can culturally try to turn it around. But as of date, Pickens and Deontay Johnson, bro, you got to step up, because you ain't earned it.
Culturally, let's focus on our offensive side of the ball, because I've told you on defense, Mike Hilton, thank you. I think he did a lot there.
And
then you get Hendrickson and Hubbard and those guys. That's our defensive heartbeat, right? When you look over on the offensive side of the ball, there's a couple people I don't think get mentioned enough. One, because a lot of problems coming out of college, didn't know how, where the integrity was. You've seen some stuff outside of the season or whatever, but on the field, as far as giving effort and heart, Joe Mixon puts it all out there.
Total facts.
And his teammates seem to love him. So I like that. And another guy that goes under the radar a lot nationally is Ted Karras. Ted Karras, Alex Kappa at center and guard. Those guys, hard-nosed, nasty, get at you offensive linemen. Listen, Kappa's got his weaknesses a little bit. Karras isn't the best center in the NFL by far. But on the field and off the field, that he's a man. He's a leader, and I respect him. And I think that goes a long way in that locker room as well.
Bro,
and Joe Burrow.
Of course, the guy, had a season-ending injury and standing on the sideline, and not just a rah-rah guy, but actually giving good detailed information and pointing out the odds and ends to be able to have increased improvement play out of the quarterback position from your backup quarterback. But we talked about this on every podcast that I've been on with you, the Homies podcast, the Homies Overtime, the Know It Alls podcast. The issue is that the Cincinnati Bengals needed an improved culture in the offensive line. And a lot of folks downplayed what they were able to get from a free agency standpoint and the improvement of those guys coming in to this season. And I think that's paying off or paying dividends big time for the Bengals offensive line, because you've shown that regardless of who's back there, they've been able to show some semblance of protection and give running lanes for Joe Mixon, which is a total improvement from Cincinnati, because they were one-dimensional prior to. Now I think Mixon mixed in with the wide receivers, they're ready to ride.
Yeah, and listen, Chase Brown adds a little bit of a thunder and lightning combo too. I like that. But listen, Joe Burrow on the headsets, it came out this week. Zach Taylor, our coach, made a comment about, Joe Burrow said, "Hey, let me know if I'm talking too much in the headset," because he's in the headsets talking to all the guys. And he said, "Don't worry, if you talk too much, I'll tell you to shut up." They have a great relationship that way, and they're much respected. And yeah, man, Joe Burrow changed everything, and that's what made those guys want to come here in the offseason.
Facts.
You know what I mean? That's Orlando Brown Jr. is here because of him. So like those are the reasons why we're getting some of those guys now. It's the everything, the end of the rainbow. It's Joe Burrow, and everything else fell into place because of it.
I agree.
Well, let's take a quick break. If you're listening to us right now on Spotify or Google or Apple Pod, go ahead, take a second to, during these commercial breaks, hit that subscribe button. Give us those 5-star reviews. Share us with your friends. Tell that friend to share us with a friend. Get those rhythms moving. We need to get more viewers every week like we've been doing over the past 6 weeks. We appreciate our loyal listeners. And if you watching on YouTube, it'll be just a quick break, and then we'll be right back. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Welcome back to Strange Love Bengals preview. And listen, not very often do I get to say this, but on this episode of Strange Love, I actually do have much love for our guest, Big G. Friend of the show, friend of the family. Tim said a little bit. Tim said a little bit. A
little something like that. A little something. Yeah.
I'm happy to have you on the show.
I appreciate it, fellas, man. I mean, it's not often I get to do crossover events. Lately it seems like it's been a lot, but I've just recently moved over to the crossover events from multiple podcasts across the platforms, college football podcast, professional football podcast. So it's just an honor just to be here, man. You can't take for granted that you have an opportunity to talk football with knowledgeable people. And like I said, I'm a diehard Steeler, but facts are facts. And so to be on a game that's critical and crucial for both teams coming into this Saturday, man, is a great opportunity.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the other thing when we talk about it on this kind of the whole concept of naming this podcast Strange Love for a crossover is, everybody, like these days you see fights between fans all the time and all such stuff. why are you so mad at the other team? You can't play the game without them. It takes two teams. Calm down.
Right.
Well, the issue is that teams see. I'm fortunate because I've had an opportunity to play at a higher level, so I understand how much effort and energy it takes. I never played at the NFL level, but the higher level, I get it. And so because of that, there's a respect for your opponents. Now there's some teams I'm gonna hate until I die. I hate the Dallas Cowboys. I hope all the bad things in the world happen to the Dallas Cowboys and only the Dallas Cowboys. I can't stand the New England Patriots. I don't got no love for them all. I got a little eerie feeling and my back itches a little bit when you start talking about the Green Bay Packers. And I hate them Ratbirds, and Baltimore. Mm-hmm. But everybody else, I got respect for them.
That's a good way to galvanize a Bengals and a Steelers fan. You just talk about Baltimore for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. The Ratbirds are trash. Get them out of here.
Yeah. The whole division agrees.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about real quick before we let the people go. We're going to talk about some opportunities you see for the Steelers. Maybe a little more in depth than we've already kind of touched on. Where do you see opportunities for them on defense, offense, like for us, for you guys to take advantage of the Bengals this week?
Going back and looking at some of the film study that I've done, because, and if you guys don't have it, please go out and subscribe to either PFF or Patreon and get the all 22 film. That will help you understand and recognize where weaknesses and strengths are for teams. And so even though I'm not getting paid by PFF or I'm getting paid by Patreon, I'm telling you it's well worth the subscription. So, of course, when you start talking about divisional opponents and A, B, C, and D, even though there's some familiarity between Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, I still had to look at the tape. I think that Cincinnati can be had in the middle of the field. I don't know if they necessarily can be had on the outside of the field, but I think in the middle of the field. So I think that the Steelers have to get the tight ends involved in the offense. It has to be at least anywhere between 12 and 16 targets between Pat Freiermuth, Cam Hayward, and Darnell Washington. If that happens and they're able to run the ball consistently in the middle of the field, offensively, Pittsburgh will have a good day or a decent day. And I think that Mason Rudolph gives a little bit more chance for the Steelers versus Mitch Trubisky, because Mitch Trubisky is a one-read quarterback. To where Mason, he's going to look second option, third option, and he delivers a better ball than any quarterback we have on our roster. So I give him a chance with that aspect for sure. Defensively, the bottom line is they got to be able to get pressure on Browning. His issue has been when he feels frustrated and pressured, and I've seen it a couple of times, especially the first game we played, but he's not the same quarterback. He's bound to make a mistake because there's a reason why he's a backup. There's a reason why he's not a starter. So if Watt and Highsmith are able to get pressure, but a lot of folks don't realize that the front end of the defense works just as much as the back end. So if you get pressure up front, your DBs are going to look better. But it works vice versa too. If you can't get any pressure, your DBs are going to look trash. So if they protect him, Cincinnati's going to carve Pittsburgh's defense up. So there's my just little spin about where I think things can be had or gained for at least my team on offense and defense.
Tim, what are your thoughts here for opportunities or concerns you've got for the Bengals going into this game with the Steelers?
Well, it's TJ Watt. Like we've been saying all year long, it's 1,000, 1,000 Watt. So, against the Colts, Browning was sacked 0 times. The Colts have a hell of a pass rush. Mm-hmm. But the thing is Browning was being quick with the ball. They were running the football. And if we continue to stick to that game plan, it won't be 1,000, 1,000 Watt. It'll be 1,000, 1,000 T. Higgins down the field, or Brown, or Mixon or somebody down the field. Mm-hmm. So if we can keep to the fast game, or a fast-paced game, and not let him, because last week when we were playing against the Vikings, a lot of the times when Browning did get sacked, it was because he was holding the ball for too long. We can't allow that to happen. If Watt, like I said, Watt and Highsmith, and you got Hayward in the middle, You know, we just got to get rid of the ball faster. And, you know, just like G just said, you know, like our biggest weakness for us is the middle of the field. You know, we've been horrible with the rush defense. Our rush defense has not been the best, but we've had some good games here and there. And then blanketing the tight end. We got to make sure that we keep somebody on that tight end, you know, shadow him, you know, because if they burn us up the seam like Moose did last time we played them, if we give him an inch, he's going to take a mile.
Yeah, you know, Big G, good analysis on the middle of the field. Our last matchup, we gave 148 yards on the ground to your dynamic duo.
Facts.
And when you look at it, though, the interesting part about that, contrary to basically the rest of your season, Najee averaged 6.6 yards a carry. Warren averaged 3.8. When you got the guy that wants to get it around the end, we cover it up pretty well. When you got the guy that hits it in the middle, 6.6 yards a carry up the middle.
Total facts.
It's
total facts.
You know, I'm. This is one of those things where Lou Anarumo. You want to be coached at the next level. You want to be the head coach. You want to be the guy. Let's see what you got now. You got DJ Reader out. You got a game plan this up. Freiermuth had 120 yards against us last time too. So you need to start rotating those guys around, figuring that out. Last week, Hawkinson had 6 catches for 69 yards. I thought that was a win for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You held him under 10. You held him under 10.
Under 10 and
targets,
under 100.
Under 10 catches, under 10 targets or 10 catches, under 100. That's a win.
So that's my major concern is that. Is TJ Watt a major concern? If he walks on the field, of course. He's always going to be a major concern. So I don't even give that breath anymore. We know we got to take care of that. Opportunities. You have 2 safeties out. KZ got suspended for the rest of the season.
Yep.
And then Minka Fitzpatrick's got a knee issue right now. So to me, T. Higgins, and I imagine you're going to put Porter Jr. over on him quite a bit.
Yeah, that's a lot. He's going to follow him all over the field.
They're going to be pretty physical. That's going to be a really interesting matchup for me to watch because both those guys like to use their hands, use their size, strength, leverage. It's going to be a real fun matchup. Now, the sneaky part of this to me is if they start rolling that coverage over there, do we see a Charlie Jones on that post again and maybe actually hit it this week? I think we might have a capability there of getting somebody. I mean, we had Charlie Jones. Chuck Sizzle was running free as can be down the center of the field, and we missed it.
Man, listen. Let me listen. I'm a diehard Steeler fan, but if I'm the Cincinnati Bengals and I see number 29, Levi Wallace, who should be on the bench for us, it's alert, 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 alert.
Throw it there.
Go route up the seam. It's alert, alert. Listen, I love the Steelers, but one thing about loving is you got to understand the weakness.
Yeah.
Levi Wallace is trash. He's full trash. So if I catch him, because you can identify if it's man or zone based on if you send a guy in motion and the guy moves with him. If he moves, it's in man. If I see that, it's alert. Alert, alert, alert right now. Go route right up the seam with Jones, with Tyler Boyd, whoever's on 29. That's where I'm going until they stop it. 29. That's the limit.
Yeah, he's not been great. I'll leave it at that.
He should be on the bench.
And he's not going to have Minka to bail him out.
That's right.
No.
Yeah, I see that. So, hey, we appreciate you coming on, Big G. Feel free if you want to give a score prediction, but I'm not going to put you on the hot seat for it. We can keep it moving.
No score prediction. No score prediction because I think this game is pivotal for both teams. And in rivalry games in the AFC North, it can go in either way. But I will say this. Whatever defensive team makes the biggest splash play will win the game. if Cincinnati makes a huge splash play on defense, where a fumble return, a interception, running it down, they'll win. Same difference for Pittsburgh, because I think the offenses are going to be evenly matched because they're going to play in between those tackles. So the biggest splash play at the end of the day is going to get the victory, in my opinion.
And it's a 4:30 game.
Mhm.
It's going to be about 40 degrees and raining in Pittsburgh. Bengals are favored by 2. It's going to be ugly. The over/under is 37. I don't expect to see a shootout by any means. I think this is going to be one play could definitely swing this either way.
Yeah,
no doubt.
I agree.
Tim, any party shots?
I just want to say thanks to G for being on the show. Good luck to your Steelers on Saturday against the Bengals. And I know you have that secret love in your heart for the Cincinnati Bengals. Thank you again.
Hey, man, listen, I live in Ohio. So, I live about an hour and 20 minutes north of Cincinnati, Ohio. So just like B-Dirt is over there in Pittsburgh, I'm right here in Bengals country. So I don't necessarily have love in my heart, but I respect them as a franchise. Let's just the other team in Ohio up there, the mistake by the lake, get them out of here. But the Bengals, I got a little respect for them.
We're getting there. We're getting there. I've been a little bit jealous of the Steelers for a long time. So we talked about when we lost Burrow on this show. Like my goal was this: show some grit, show some culture. When you have a bad season or unfortunate things happen, go 9-8, go 10-7. Still be good. Still be a hard out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Steelers, I've watched them do that most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what that's what we're trying to aspire to, and then I feel like we're making the right strides to get there. So, hey, G, I appreciate you. Listen, go check my man out. He's on the Cavaliers podcast. He's got a college football podcast. If you're on the Fans First Sports Network and you're not listening to G, you're on the wrong channel. Go find him, and definitely check us out on Friday. We got the homies
overtime,
man, overtime, and no Tate to keep us corralled in there. It's hard to say.
It's gonna be off the hook. It's gonna be off the hook this week. In my opinion, it's gonna be off the hook. I
heard a rumor.
Tate. Yeah, what's that?
I heard it's the ugly sweater party.
Oh, listen, I'm gonna have sweaters, ugly hats, all that stuff is gonna be jumping off, man. So for sure, it's gonna be a great show.
That's a good one to check out on YouTube, guys. That's a good one to check out on YouTube for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right. Well, we appreciate you coming out, man. Have a Merry Christmas and good luck to you guys on Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Until next week, guys, you want the rest of our takes and in-depth analysis, more centric focused on the Bengals, you got to go over and check us out as we are running through the jungle.